378,290,000-ish children under 5 around the world. But what's so important about being 5? A lot, it turns out. Children who survive to age 5 are twice as likely to reach adulthood. That's why vaccines for young children matter so much. In the last 40 years, global public health infrastructure has reached children here, and even here. Impressive, right? But 12.5 million children in the world are still totally unvaccinated. They're called zero-dose children. Some of these kids are hard to reach because they're living in conflict zones or remote villages. But some aren't that far away, living in dense low-income urban centres. Essentially, they could be anywhere. Can we really find them? Absolutely. India proved it could be done. In 2009, nearly a third of Indian children under 2 years old were zero-dose children. That year alone, there were 741 reported cases of polio, more than any other country in the world. But with just 1 year of vaccination campaigns that included special strategies to reach zero-dose children, they reduced that number to 42 cases. But how? Well, in some places, vaccinators look for families at bus and train stations. Others use motorbikes or trekked by foot to find children in the most remote regions. And to tackle 107 city blocks identified as high risk, vaccinators travelled house to house, delivering immunisations for polio and other preventable diseases. Doing this required 4 million vaccine carriers, 5 million vaccinators, 344 million children vaccinated, and 450 million doses of polio vaccine. See? It can be done, and the results are worth it. Let's make sure all children grow up healthy and vaccinated against preventable diseases, and ensure that zero-dose children are a thing of the past.
우리 모두는 더 건강한 세상에 살고 싶어 합니다. 백신은 그 소망을 이룰 수 있도록 돕습니다. 세계 인구의 4분의 3 이상이 백신 접종이 안전하고 효과적이라고 믿습니다. 하지만 백신 거부로 인해 그 혜택을 받지 못하는 사람도 많습니다. 카불에서 캔자스시리에 이르기까지 전 세계에서 백신 접종은 안전과 안심, 새로운 기회를 제공합니다. 백신에 대한 신뢰가 극도로 높은 르완다에서는 기대 수명이 3분의 1 이상 늘어났습니다. 백신에 대한 회의감에는 두려움과 잘못된 정보 등 많은 원인이 있습니다. 어려운 문제지만 해결하는 것은 가능합니다. 2015년 우크라이나에서 소아마비가 발병했을 때 로타리와 전 세계의 파트너들은 신뢰할 수 있는 정보원이 되어주었습니다. 성공의 열쇠는 다음과 같았습니다. 우리는 신뢰를 쌓고 판단이 아닌 사실에 기반해 상황을 이끌었으며 문화적 차이를 인지했습니다. 우리는 함께 사람들이 백신의 힘을 이해하고 받아들이도록 도왔습니다. 전염병이 전례 없이 유행하는 지금, 우리는 같은 일을 더 큰 규모로 하고 있습니다. 백신에 대한 대화를 나눔으로써 우리는 모두가 건강한 세상에 더 가까이 갈 수 있습니다.
हाँ बस वो 2 घर हैं उसमें वो मैं आपको बता दूंगी
उधर तो वो रिफ्यूजल ही बहुत ज़्यादा है ना इसके
बच्चों को यानी कि आपका काम ये है कि लोगों को हर तरह से उनके ड्रॉप्स हमने 5 साल के जो कम
कायल करना है।
और यहाँ पे जिस इलाके में मैं काम कर रही हूँ वहाँ हर वक्त ये भी खतरा होता है कि ये औरत आई है। आई एम वर्किंग विद मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ और उसमें एज ए नेशनल BCC कोऑर्डिनेटर हूँ। और एज ए रोटेरियन जो मेरा पैशन है कि हम सबका, नॉट मी बल्कि सब रोटेरियंस का है कि वो कम्युनिटी के लिए सर्व करें। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। वो हमने लेडी हेल्थ वर्कर को भी ट्रेंड किया और कम्युनिटी में ख़वातीन के साथ कैसे बातचीत करनी है, रिफ्यूज़ल को कैसे कवर करना है। रिफ्यूज़ल जो ख़वातीन हैं और उनको हमने मोटिवेट कैसे करना है।
المعشوم خیال بدیم ساتلی کیږي ستابم ساتلی کیږي صحیح شو او ماغه سنټر دی ښه زلال
We have huge problem of community resistance of repeated polio campaigns. So trust building is one of the biggest challenges faced by the program as a whole.
जितना लोकल कल्चर और कस्टम को जाने कि जी आपका एनालिसिस सब कुछ embedded हो in the local context.
बिल्कुल सही।
Whether it's through their medical centers, whether it's through their capacity building initiatives. Tayyiba is doing what is actually needed. She's opening doors.
जब ख़वातीन जहाँ पे आती हैं हमसे बातचीत करती हैं और उनको हम खुशामदीद कहते हैं। सबसे पहले इस जगह पे हमने मदर हेल्थ सेंटर कायम किए थे, इसको जॉइंटली किया और यहाँ पे ना सिर्फ हम रूटीन इम्यूनाइजेशन, हम पोलियो वैक्सीन और ट्रेन करते हैं लोगों को। मुझे यहाँ के कल्चर, यहाँ के वैल्यू, इन तमाम लोगों के रिस्पेक्ट करते हुए उस तरीके से मूव करना होता है। पहले भी हर साल हम सेमिनार करते हैं मगर अभी चूँकि रिफ्यूज़ल बहुत ज़्यादा थे तो हमने फोकस किया, हमने रिलीजियस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से कवर किया, हमने कोऑर्डिनेशन की जाके यूनिसेफ के साथ, WHO के साथ करें कि यहाँ से पोलियो का खात्मा हो जाए। ये तमाम LHWs ये असल हीरो हैं पोलियो को रेडिकेट करने में। क्या हाल चाल है? ठीक ठाक है। आज कि ग्रास रूट लेवल पे तो यही ख़वातीन काम कर रही हैं, आपके लिए, मेरे लिए, सबके लिए, पूरी दुनिया के लिए। क्योंकि मेरा बचपन यहाँ पे गुजरा हुआ है तो इस जगह को मैंने आज से 9 साल पहले मैंने काम शुरू किया। सच पूछें तो लाइट जो है ना बहुत छोटी सी है और मुझे लगता है कि मुझे मरने से पहले कुछ करके जाना चाहिए। तो मे बी मेरी एक कंट्रीब्यूशन होगी छोटी सी, पूरी दुनिया के लिए शायद तोहफा होगा कि पाकिस्तान में जब पोलियो ख़त्म हुआ
seen in this year's World Polio Day program, countless Rotary members are donating their expertise, time, and money to make polio a disease of the past. The work we've accomplished collectively is exceptional. Together with our partners, we've immunized nearly 3 billion children and prevented more than 19 million cases of polio. Today, the wild polio virus is contained in just 2 countries, and circulation of the wild virus is lower than ever. While this is encouraging, the job isn't done. It will require our collective energy to wipe out wild polio in Pakistan and Afghanistan and overcome the remaining challenges. We must use new strategies and every available vaccine to tackle vaccine-derived polio. And we need to ensure that polio-free countries stay polio-free. Finally, we can harness the power of vaccines to bring this journey to an end so that the infrastructure we built can continue to keep children safe against other vaccine-preventable diseases. Meeting these challenges starts with you, because this effort started with you, and this effort will end with you and every single one of our 1.4 million Rotary and Rotaract members working together to eradicate polio. On behalf of the Rotary Foundation trustees and Rotary's International Polio Plus Committee, I am asking for your help. Whether you're a longtime donor, considering a gift for the first time, or you haven't donated in a few years, the Polio Plus program needs your support. We must raise $50 million each year so we can finish the fight we started. Every dollar you donate will be matched 2-to-1 by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which triples your impact. We will eradicate polio. We need to aim high, dream big, and give freely. Please consider making a donation this year at www.endpolio.org. Thank you for your support.
For the last 30 years, I've been working within the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, particularly in close partnership with Rotary International, in one of the world's largest public health programs, that is to eradicate polio. In Pakistan, as of 13 September, 18 children have been detected to be paralyzed by wild polio virus in a part of southern Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. And this compares with only 1 case reported in Pakistan in 2021. And this outbreak actually started after a gap of 14 months of no cases of wild polio virus detected in Pakistan. In Afghanistan, as of 13 September, 2 cases of wild polio virus have been detected compared with 4 cases last year in 2021. The large outbreak of vaccine variant polio virus that affected both countries appears to have stopped now. The last case was detected in July of 2021. The detection of children paralyzed by wild polio virus reported into Malawi and in Mozambique, and the recent detection of vaccine variant viruses in New York, in London, and in Israel, again remind us that as long as polio virus survives anywhere, it remains a threat to children and unvaccinated persons everywhere.
Non-wild polio variants are rare forms of the polio virus that occur if the weakened strain of the polio virus contained in the oral polio vaccine circulates among under-immunized populations for a prolonged period of time. If enough children are not immunized against polio, the weakened virus can pass in the community and over time genetically revert to a form that can cause paralysis. The polio virus knows no borders. We know this well in Africa, where non-wild variants outbreaks that started in one country have quickly spread to neighboring countries, causing multiple outbreaks. Last year, the Global Polio Eradication Initiative launched an innovative tool, the novel oral polio vaccine type 2. This new vaccine is a genetically modified version of the existing monovalent oral polio vaccine type 2 that can potentially stop outbreaks of known wild polio variants. Close to 500 million doses of this new polio vaccine have been delivered in over 23 countries. With new tools and continued commitment of all stakeholders, we are confident that together we can deliver on the promise of a polio-free world, a world where no child will be paralyzed by polio ever again.
On the road to eradication and containment, surveillance will continue to play a critical role in the certification process, ensuring that poliovirus transmission has been interrupted and the hard-earned win of a polio-free world will be maintained post-certification. The Global Polio Eradication Initiative, or GPEI, relies on a highly sensitive surveillance system to determine where the poliovirus is and is not circulating, especially as we experience fewer cases of polio in fewer geographies. This global system consists of field activities to detect cases of new onset limpness or paralysis with the collection of stool specimens from patients and the collection of sewage samples known as environmental surveillance. Samples are sent to a network of 145 laboratories where technicians are trained to test and analyze polioviruses. Today, there's an increasing number of wastewater sampling sites to pinpoint where the poliovirus may be circulating, even silently, when paralytic cases are not identified. This system is how the polio program identified the recent importation of wild poliovirus into Malawi and Mozambique from Pakistan, and how we've been able to respond to outbreaks of the variant poliovirus type 2 occurring mainly in Africa, and how poliovirus was detected in Israel, London, and New York.
20 million children are walking today who would have otherwise been paralyzed if it wasn't for the global polio eradication. And this gives us 20 million reasons to go on until we succeed. So on this World Polio Day, I want to appreciate and thank all of our polio health workers, particularly those who are working in extremely difficult and often insecure conditions at the front lines. I also want to thank all of our partners, particularly Rotary International, for their support at multiple levels, from financing to advocacy for on-the-ground efforts. Without Rotarians, we could not succeed in eradicating polio.
연속성에는 또 두 가지 다른 측면이 있는데요. 우리가 하는 일에 매우 중요한 부분입니다. 첫 번째는 소아마비입니다. 여러분 아시겠지만 소아마비 퇴치는 로타리의 최우선순위로 아직 존재하고 있습니다. 우리는 지난 35년 동안 많은 일을 해왔고 사실 우리가 한 일에 대해서 소아마비가 없는 세상을 꿈꾸는 우리 자신을 자랑스럽게 생각해야 할 것입니다. 그러나 동시에 또한 매년 소아마비 퇴치 이야기를 해야 되기 때문에 지친 감도 없지 않아 있습니다. 그러나 얼마나 중요합니까? 적어도 우리가 1년에 5천만 불을 모금을 해서 빌과 멜린다 게이츠 재단의 상응 1억 불을 받는 것이 얼마나 중요합니까? 우리는 아마 지금 다시 한번 도전을 더 박차를 가해야 될 것 같습니다. 그리고 현재 로타리 폴리오 퇴치, 소아마비 퇴치 캠페인에 기부하는 회원들은 12명 중에 1명 꼴입니다. 또 클럽으로 따지면 5개 중에 1개 클럽도 안 됩니다. 다시 한번 소아마비가 전 세계 도시에서 탐지가 되고 있는데요. 이제 이 완전히 퇴치가 될 때를 한번 생각해 보십시오. 완전히 소아마비 퇴치가 이루어지면 로타리는 대대적인 역사적인 그런 신뢰와 그리고 공로를 인정받게 될 것입니다. 따라서 지금이야말로 우리는 매년 가능한 한 모든 자원을 모아서 이 소아마비 퇴치를 신속하게 달성해야 할 것입니다. 여러분이 이런 새로운 긴박감을 만드는 데 여러분의 도움이 필요합니다. 소아마비 퇴치를 위해서 여기에 희망이 있다. 퇴치가 가능하다라는 희망을 만들어서 전 세계 아이들을 위협하는 이 질병을 없애야 될 것입니다. 여러분의 도움이 필요합니다. 로타리의 꿈을 실현시켜야 됩니다. 소아마비 백신을 개발한 조나 솔크 박사가 이렇게 얘기했습니다. 희망은 꿈과 상상력 그리고 꿈을 실현하는 사람들이 가진 용기 속에 들어있다 라고 하셨습니다.